Hello, everybody. Welcome on in. It is another new week here on Betting Weekly Game Bet Match. It's the number one tennis betting podcast and YouTube show brought to you in association with Bet Rivers. As I always ask you at the beginning of each show, please hit that subscribe button. Please ring that bell to be notified of any time any of these podcasts or these shows drops. Delighted to say joining me from a much nicer background I can see from his hotel window there over at Delray Beach. It is our senior ATP Tour handicapper. It is Sean Calvert. Good afternoon. Good morning to you for you.
Is it after? I think it's afternoon now. It's 10 past 2 in the afternoon.
Oh yeah.
I can't see you for some reason. All I can see is the outrights for Delray Beach. But yeah, I know you're there. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, what's not to like? It's boiling hot. There's some good tennis on about 10 minutes away from my hotel. Yeah, it's all good.
You're not missing much if you can't see me, so don't worry about that. The one thing
I
will say,
it's a bit strange doing it on this app. I can't really see a great deal, but anyway.
Well, listen, a lot of people subscribe to the podcast only, rather for those exact reasons that you're having there, rather than the YouTube channel. So that, you're in the majority of people nowadays. Just one thing I will say. Last week we were over in Rotterdam and over in Holland, and what a great week! I don't think we gave a losing pick on the show on the matches, and certainly Alex de Minaur give us a good run for his money, didn't he? Got to the final and got the place money, just ran into Alcaraz today. A little bit of tiredness, a little bit of flu bug going around as well. But he gave us a good run for our money, didn't he?
He did well in conditions that, as I said at the start of the week, they were tailor made for Carlos Alcaraz, and the tournament got what it wanted in the end, which was Alcaraz winning. But yeah, just still getting. I know we got de Minaur to the final. There weren't great conditions for de Minaur, but we're having a lot of problems with the outrights, aren't we? We had Lehechka again injured, retired. If you include de Minaur as well, who clearly was sick, certainly on the Saturday, I don't know about today, but he certainly looked, by the end, like he got absolutely nothing left. If you throw de Minaur in as well, I think that's 7 outrights we've had already this season that have been affected by either illness, injury, retirements, withdrawals, sickness, crazy stuff, really. But yeah, we've done well with de Minaur. He's done well actually in conditions that for me are too slow for him, and he's taken Alcaraz all the way to the third set. So, and as you said, all the match bets pretty much won as well at good prices. So it's nice to get February off to a good start because it's a tough month, February, sometimes.
Yeah, very, very good week last week, and hopefully we can continue that this week. And the show now is in a nice bit of profit, plus 4.18 units on the show. Shows you how quickly it can turn around, and we are in profit, and we're long to stay there until the end of the tennis season, 3 months or loads of months away. Before we move on to the conditions here, the one thing, I sent a load of stuff on the Instagram account, loads of different pictures were coming up, and there was a load of different stuff. Then you took over the Instagram duties. If you're not following us, make sure you follow the app Because We Win. But the one picture I've had more messages about than any other picture is Mr. Calvert in business class. What? Hang on a minute. What's happened here? What's happened here? I literally, I'm not joking. I probably had about 4 or 5 messages from people going, as Sean turned the new leaf this year, as he won the lottery or something like that. Bet Rivers give him a pay rise. What's all that about?
It's about tax. I'm getting absolutely ripped off with corporation tax. If you're not in Britain, you probably won't get what that is. But I've needed to move some money around, basically. It's not me thinking, I need a bit of luxury here. I'm going to do a bit of business class. It's basically financial reasons to get some big old expenses in, which will hopefully reduce my tax bill a little bit. But now that I must admit, I didn't really want to do this because once you've sort of tasted that, you don't really want to go back, do you, to the sort of economy? I know that's going to be a problem, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
It is different class though. Getting your head down, having a sleep, and just on the bed, it's just like just different class when you go and it's 8 or 9 hours journey. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great experience, and obviously it makes a change for the people on the plane, or the air stewardesses or stewards or whatever, being like 1,000 times nicer to you than they are anywhere else.
Mr. Calvert, would you like another glass of champagne? That's different glass, and that's just EasyJet.
Well, I don't drink on planes, as you know, and I didn't have a drink on that one either. But they come up to you at the end, don't they, and say, we appreciate your business and all this sort of stuff. You don't get any of that in economy, I can tell you that. No. But the short answer is it's about money. Yes,
there you go. You've heard it now first, and there's a lot of people asking these questions, and we did put it down to Altmaier. We did put it down to a couple of the big bidders there, but there was more reasons that does help as well. Let's move on to this week. Now we've been reason we're doing it late today on Super Bowl Sunday, a big day for betting across America and betting with Bet Rivers, is because the draws have been out, but we've been waiting for the odds to come out. We've been waiting a long time today to get all the odds out. Unfortunately, we've only got some odds on 2 of the matches rather than all 3. And there's 250 events this week. One in Delray Beach, where Sean is, one in Marseille, and then we're over in South America for a clay event in Buenos Aires. Let's have a look at the... well, first of all, let's start where you are, in Delray Beach. Now, obviously, the weather's beautiful, as we've seen from Instagram. We've seen from your window there. Very, very hot. What else have you got to tell us from your day out and about looking around in Delray Beach over the last 24 hours or so?
Well, I've not been in there yet. I've been to the front of the tournament, the entrance, but I didn't go in. They wanted $59 to go in.
But you got to spend money. For you to spend money, put that through in expenses. $59. Get that spent.
That's not going to do anything, is it? $59. It's a matter of principle. They wanted $59 to go and watch the Bryan brothers play doubles against Tommy Haas and Sam Querrey.
Don't worry about it.
And a bit of qualifying. Actually, I was more tempted today because Del Potro's in there today. Del Potro's playing doubles with somebody. I can't remember who it was. It might be Xavier Melisse, somebody like that. He's playing today, and obviously qualifying continues. I have had it confirmed by the tournament that, as far as conditions are concerned, it's still a plexipave outdoor hard court, but I think they're using Dunlop balls now. In the past year, they've used Penn balls, which are the same ones I think they use at Indian Wells. They're kind of on the slower side, but I think they're using Dunlop ATP ones now. It average in terms of the conditions, it averages 80% holds, 72.3% first serve points won. Kind of a medium-paced hard court, quite bouncy. Not too many tie breaks. It averages 36% tiebreak matches, which is pretty low for a hard court event. Slight trend to the unders, under 22.5 games. That's cashing 54% of the matches here. The wind can sometimes be a factor. I mean, I've been quite happy that it's been breezy here because it is hot and humid. It's humidity as well here in February. It makes it a little bit hotter. We just look at what Taylor Fritz said last year. He's a 2-time defending champion here. He said, it's not the easiest conditions to play in with the court, the balls, everything. It's not as forgiving as a lot of other places. So I feel like it's a lot easier to miss a lot of balls here. And that's the guy that's the 2-time defending champion. So he's found the conditions a little tricky, even though he's obviously won it a couple of times. Not great for underdog winners. A squeak below average, 32%. Underdog winners. As far as the trends are concerned here, number 1 seed has won it in the last 3 editions. And there's been no winner bigger price than 6-1 since 2020. Now, Taylor Fritz is going for a three-peat here. He'll be the first player ever to win 3 Delray Beaches in a row. If he does it. And as far as the weather's concerned, it's going to be like this all week. Thankfully for me, I'm amazed it's not raining. It normally does where I go. It's going to be like this all week. Hot, humid, breezy. That's it.
Yeah, let's have a look. Taylor Fritz, as you said, has won it the last couple of years. Cam Norrie won it in 2022. Herbert Hurkacz won in 21. Abelka won it in 20. So there are some big serving players there, apart from Cam Norrie, Abelka, Hurkacz, Fritz. So big servers maybe looking at with the weather conditions as well. Let's have a look at the draw. It is a 32-man draw, and the top 4 seeds get bye through to round number 2. In the top half of the draw, it is Taylor Fritz who gets the bye. He's alongside Arnaldi, the number 4 seed. Bottom half of the draw, Mickelson and Marcus Giron. Someone's obviously pulled out here, haven't they? Who pulled out the draw? Tommy Paul pulled out. Yeah, Tommy pulled out. Yeah. So Fritz.
The draw's changed. I don't know whether you've got the latest copy of the draw, but it has changed because Paul's gone out.
Yeah, I've got the one. So Giron goes into Paul's position at the bottom half of the draw. Yeah. I've got the latest one. It says Fritz, Arnaldi, Mickelson, and Giron is the 4 players into the next round, into the round of 16. And if it goes to seeding, Fritz will meet Davidovich Fokina. Arnaldi will meet Nakashima. Rinderknech will play Mickelson, and Kekmanovic will play Marcus Giron. It's not the most glamorous of draws. There's not really some big players there. I know it's a 250, but it's not the most glamorous of draws. What are you looking at in this kind of bracket? Where are you trying to find some value? We've still got some qualifiers to go in who could play a part as well.
Yeah, qualifying's still going on. I don't think there's that many particularly fabulous players in qualifiers from what I've seen of the quali draw. I really like Riley Opelka here. I really
Yeah.
do. I think the conditions will suit him absolutely perfectly. He's played really, really well so far in 2025. Beat Novak Djokovic, of course, on a hard court, and went on to make the final in Brisbane, where he had to retire early on in that final. He's already beaten Matteo Arnaldi this season. I think it was in that Brisbane tournament actually, and Arnaldi's in his section there, Q2 of this draw. I feel like the courts were too sort of low bouncing for him in Dallas. He's a very, very tall guy. He does prefer the higher bouncing conditions. He still did pretty well in Dallas. Made the quarterfinals, losing to Tommy Paul there. Obviously, no disgrace in that. But he's got a great record here, Riley Opelka. Won it in 2021, final in 2022. He's 11-3 win-loss at this particular tournament. He's got service points won and return points won total of 105, which is excellent. And he's held serve here in his career 95% of the time. So it's proven virtually impossible to break him. He's got good records against the guys in his bracket, 2-0 against Eubanks, as I say, 1-0 against Arnaldi. The obvious problem is Taylor Fritz. But in these conditions, he's got a chance against Taylor Fritz. 6 of the last 8 sets that those two have contested against each other have been tiebreaks. So if he is going to beat Taylor Fritz, I think these conditions, it's probably going to happen somewhere like this, the high bouncing court, which does suit Opelka. So he's my pick in the top half of the draw. I think it's about 14-1, isn't it? Something like that.
Yeah, 14-1. I mean, I was looking at the draw here, and he's got. I was just doing my jottings down, and I've got him in the player to get through to the final. And that second quarter does appear to be a rather weak section. The fact that you've got him in, he's got a good record against those players in and around him. And Taylor Fritz said before his defeat against Shapovalov that he wasn't fit as well. In Dallas, he said he was carrying some kind of injury worry.
Even better than post. I didn't see that, but
yeah, he said in a post-match interview before this match, but prior to that, he said he wasn't feeling 100%, and then he gets beat. So Taylor, there is a bit of a question mark about him. Let's have a look. I'll give you the full odds now, Sean. We're going to put them on screen. Taylor Fritz is plus 190. Alex Mickelson is $8. Lerner Tien is 12. Obviously, he did so well at the Australian Open. Marcus Giron now being moved into that number 2 seed bracket despite being the number 5 seed. He's 12-1. Kekmanovic 12. Alessandro Davidovich Fokina 14. Cam Norrie 14. Whole host of players on 14, including our man Riley Opelka. And he is Sean's main pick in the top half of the draw. In the bottom half of the draw, what's taking your fancy there?
It's changed a bit, hasn't it, since I took a look at this earlier. The 2 seeds the 2 high seeds, Mickelson and Giron, they look like the 2 to me. Just a bit short. Mickelson was one that I was kind of leaning towards in this half. Problem with that is Giron's beaten him a couple of times. So I'm just feeling like that price is a little short on Mickelson. Giron would probably have been my pick in this half, but he had injury problem last week as well. He pulled out of his match against Casper Ruud in Dallas just 10 minutes before he was due to play with a neck injury. So not sure whether he's fit. Nishioka we'll come on to in a minute. We'll talk about him in a second. Kekmanovic is always one that is possible, but just seems to be just a little bit too flaky to go the whole way and win a tournament. Wouldn't be surprised if he made the sort of semi-finals. That wouldn't surprise me at all if he's on a good week. Cam Norrie, you never know. He's played well here before. Very much depends on his fitness situation. I think he beat Mickelson last week, didn't he? In Dallas, I think, Norrie. He's gone well here before, so he's a possibility as well. So yeah, I'm not going to have a bet in the bottom half. I'm just taking Opelka in the top half. I think he's the outstanding choice for me this week in Delray.
Very big price, 14-1 Opelka. Like easy section. For what it's worth, I thought the final was between Opelka and Mickelson, but Opelka was definitely my bet prior to speaking to you at 14-1. But there we go. Opelka is our bet. We do have a couple of matches that we are going to discuss, or one match we're going to discuss here. Nishioka up against Aleksandar Vukic. Bet Rivers can't really split the two of them. -112 Nishioka, plus -118 Vukic. Total here is 22.5. When you look at the head-to-head, you'll understand why they can't split them. They met 4 times previously, 2 wins apiece. Their record this year is not far off identical as well on a hard court. 4-3 for Nishioka, 3-3 for Vukic. Nishioka got beat by Ruud in the Dallas quarterfinal, but he pulled out of that match. And Dallas in the first round, Vukic got beat by Shelton in straight sets. So it's quite an interesting match here because you've got to worry about how much of a fitness doubt Nishioka is. But on the head-to-head and on their season form so far, Rivers look about right to make him a pick and match. But obviously the injury is a bit of a worry.
Yeah, for me, I mean, when I looked at this earlier, Nishioka was originally priced up as underdog, which I thought was an outstanding price. The only thing that worries me about Nishioka here is fitness. But if you can trust his fitness, he's an excellent price here, a really good price. He's in great form at the minute, Nishioka, playing with a lot of confidence, which is important for him. He is a real confidence player, Nishioka. Goes well at Delray Beach as well, made the final here in 2020. Vukic has only won one match here in the main draw. I'm not convinced about him against a left-hander like Nishioka on a bouncy court like this. I think he prefers a sort of slicker, lower bouncing surface, Vukic. He's also often a very slow starter against left-handers, Vukic. He's lost the opening set 8 times in the 14 matches he's played at main level against left-handers, and he's only once beaten a left-hander at main level in straight sets, and that was against world number 692 wildcard in Los Cabos, and he only won that 7-6, 7-6. The head-to-head, as you say, is tied, but it doesn't really tell the whole tale of the matchup, because in terms of service points won and return points won, it's 107-93 in favour of Nishioka. Vukic won a couple of those matches. His wins came in final set tiebreak, so he nicked a couple of them really. Vukic done nothing really on the Nishioka serve. He's only won 29% of return points against Nishioka, who's anything but a big server. In terms of second serve points won, overwhelming as well for Nishioka, 64% for him on second serve compared to 49% for Vukic. So for me, it's a good matchup for Nishioka against Vukic. The concern is obviously the fitness. Although that said, he did beat our pick Francis Tiafoe with an injured arm last week in Dallas. But he's one of those players, Nishioka. If he plays 2 or 3 matches in a short space of time, there's always something goes wrong with him. I'm hoping that he gets a later start here, preferably Tuesday. I think that sort of 2 or 3, 4 days that he's had will probably be enough, because I don't think that injury was a serious one. I think it was just a soreness from playing too much tennis. So, yeah, I'm still going to take Nishioka here because I think he's a pretty good. He should be favourite, really, in my opinion, against Vukic in these conditions.
Yeah, minus 112. Probably the reason why he's not the favourite is that sort of injury worry we had him last week. But he's on his day. He's more capable of beating Vukic. He's done twice before in his career. Just the one bet then we have for you over at Delray Beach. If you want to follow Sean's bets throughout the day, when more markets come available, you can at the Because We Win Instagram account. At Because We Win is our handle. Just give us a follow on there and you'll be able to follow Sean over in Florida. Let's move across to the south of France, to Marseille, where we have another 250 this week. It starts a little bit earlier, 10 o'clock tomorrow. The action starts in Delray Beach Eastern Time, so make sure you get anything you want on early with Bet Rivers. These matches start at 6 a.m. Eastern Time. The matches in Marseille, so a little bit earlier for you. Before we break down the bracket, what have we got? The trends over in Marseille. It's indoors, and it's a court that looks again that some big servers have done well. Hugo and Bear won it in 2024. Hercash won it in 2023. So just looking at the previous winners, I'm guessing it could be on the quick side.
Good question. I mean, I don't know, because obviously, like any indoor hard tournament, it can change. As we saw with Rotterdam last week, it can change at the whim of the tournament director. They can make it out whatever they want. We don't even know what service it is because the ATP don't tell us anymore. It used to be a Gerfloor indoor hard court, but that's probably changed in recent years, or certainly could change this year. They, as I say, they can put down whatever they want. Last year, most players said it was very slow. I mean, Khachanov and Bautista and Gut, they both said it was really, really slow. But we had one player, which I think was Rusevori, who said it was fast. So, not sure about that. If we look at the statistics from last year, 81% holds, 74.6% first serve points. One wouldn't suggest that it's slow, but there are only 33% tie-break matches, which would suggest that it's a little bit slow. The tournament now says that they're using head balls. I don't think they used head balls before. They're the same balls they used in Rotterdam in the week just gone, which are kind of on the slowish side. So it's always a little bit of guesswork with these indoor tournaments, unless they're going to tell you what they're doing, which very, very few of them do. There's no real trend as far as overs or unders are concerned. 51% unders, under 22.5. No real trend there. Again, not the best for underdog winners either. 32% of the underdogs win here on average, which is just a roundabout average or just below average for the tour. As far as the trends are concerned, no qualifiers ever made the final here in over 30 editions of this tournament. There's been no winner at bigger odds than 12-1 since 2018. But there have been a few big price runners up. We had Bonzi when I was at this tournament a couple of years ago. He was 30-1. Herbert, Aguez Herbert's made the final here, 66-1. Kukushkin 66-1 as well. But they were a few years ago. In recent times, it's gone the way of the market leaders.
Yeah, and the market leader, one of the market leaders is Daniel Medvedev. Well, he's the market leader. Medvedev has taken a wild card and he's gone straight in the draw as the number one seed. He needs to improve on what we've seen so far this year. Is he doesn't look at it at all, and he'd probably be a fade at the odds. We'll come on to the odds in a minute, but the draw is exactly the same as the 250 we just spoke about in Delray Beach. The top four seeds are through to the last 16. It's a 32-man draw, and it's Medvedev is the number one seed in the top half of the draw against fellow Russian. Kachanov in the bottom half of the draw is Hurkacz and Humbert. Thought Hurkacz played really well last week, actually, in Rotterdam. It was on the slow side, and he did well, and he should have. He had all kinds of chances against Alcaraz in the semi-final. He was the takeout for me. I thought he played well. Let's have a look at the betting. Let's look at the draw first. Medvedev will be playing Mpechi Perigard if it goes to plan in the quarterfinals. Kachanov will play Sebastian Korda. Borges will play Hurkacz. Sonego will play Humbert. I mean, really, if you just watched it on last couple of years form, the bottom half looks a little bit easier for you, but on the form of this year, Medvedev is probably one of the poorest seeds in it, but he is the tournament favourite. He is the favourite at plus 250 with Bet Rivers. Hurkacz is plus 450. Humbert 550, and Mpechi Perigard, who had to pull out of the tournament last week in Rotterdam with Flubug, he's 8. Kachanov is 8. Costa is 9. Korda is 9. And then we go into big prices: 20-1 Bublik and 22-1 Sonego and Jean Lederstruff. What are you liking in this draw? I mean, Medvedev at plus 250. You couldn't bet that with it. I know you're trying to get rid of money at the moment, Sean, but putting it on Medvedev would surely be one of the worst decisions you can. But one of the worst decisions you could be doing.
I don't think I'll be putting any of my tax money on Medvedev. That's for sure. Plus 250. For me, the bottom half looks easier of the two. In the top half, you've got Medvedev, obviously, Struff, and Mpechi Perigard, Kachanov, Korda. Any of those could make the final, and you wouldn't be surprised. Whereas I think the bottom half is a little bit more clear cut. I agree with you about Hubert Hurkacz. I think he was impressive last week in Rotterdam. As you said, probably should have beaten Alcaraz. I think he was. Didn't he have 3 break points for a double break lead in the first set? He was 4-1 up. I think he had 3 break points to make it 5-1. Ended up losing the set. It's not good enough, really. But I like what he's doing at the minute, Hubert Hurkacz. He's making changes. I always like it when players that are in that sort of top 10, top 15, they're desperate to go on and not be content with maybe winning a Masters. They want to make major finals and hopefully from their point of view, win a major. So, he's changed his racket, plays with a Wilson racket now, brought 2 new coaches in, 2 very well-known figures, obviously in tennis, Ivan Lendl as a sort of consultant and Nicholas Massu as his sort of day-to-day, week-to-week traveling coach. And it's quite obvious what he's trying to do from what we've seen of him in certainly last week. Much more aggressive. For me, he's always been a bit too content to kind of rally passively with the weapons that he's got. Arguably one of the top 2 or 3 serves in the game. Needs to come into the net more, and that's what he's doing. He's a bit of a work in progress. It's not natural to him, but he's doing it, and I do like that. I think it'll give him dividends on indoor hard in those sort of conditions. Almost beat Alcaraz last week. Did lose to Humbert in the semi-finals of this particular tournament last year, but I would fancy that result to be turned around. the way they're playing at the minute. The big price one again could be Bonzi. He's the home boy. He's from Marseille. He loves this tournament. He's been playing some great indoor tennis recently. He does play his best stuff on indoor hard. If you're looking for a big priced each way pick, then maybe with Bonzi. I'm just not convinced that he would beat Hurkacz if they met in the semi-final. So not a usual pick for me. I normally go for the bigger prices, but I feel like a win-only play on Hurkacz is perhaps the way to go in Marseille this week.
I agree with you again, Sean. I mean, I just thought to myself, he's just played some of the best tennis I've seen in a tournament in the conditions that wasn't ideal for him in what was a slower Rotterdam, tailor-made for Alcaraz, and he pushed him all the way, and he was for me the take-out player. And I thought once we get to a quick surface, then he's the man who's going to win one. And I think that's a great play. I think sometimes these plus 450 ones, we saw last week a couple of favourites winning and doing okay, and I think that bet there looks a very, very clever bet. I mean, the Diminor one was a single figure price and give us a great run through to the final. So yeah. Hurkacz is our bet. So I'm sure we bet him last year as well here. I'm sure we bet Hurkacz. Did we? If memory serves me right, someone will remember. Put it in the comments box if you've been with us for that year. But I'm sure we bet Hurkacz last year, and I think we did. I think we bet him in Humbert because I was moaning about Humbert, saying that every time we bet him he wins, and every time we're on someone else, Humbert goes against us. So I remember moaning about that. Not like me to moan. I'm sure. No. There is one match that has caught your attention, and that is Nuno Borges up against Stanislas Wawrinka. Stanislas, it wouldn't be a game bet match show without us having a bet with Stanislas Wawrinka in the opening match. He cashed for us last week, in the Medvedev Wawrinka over 10.5 in set one, which is a very easy cash, and hopefully we're going to get on the right side of him again. He's up against Nuno Borges, as I said. Borges is the favourite, minus 143. Stanislas Wawrinka is plus 110. Spread is 1.5 here, and the total is 22.5. They met once before, way back in 2024. Borges won that on the clay court. Wawrinka hasn't won indoors yet. He's 0-2. He hasn't won on hard yet, 0-1. And he hasn't won a tennis match on the main tour since October. What are we going to do here?
What we normally do, I think, with Wawrinka.
Set one over.
I haven't got. Well, like this, it's normally set one something, isn't it? I haven't got odds to hand here because I'm using my phone to obviously record this video, so I can't check any current odds. But I'm interested in the price. Let you know. Tell me what you need. Okay, Wawrinka to win set one is what I'm interested in. He must be one of our most profitable players. Wawrinka. We've had him to win set one or set one overs numerous times, and this could be another opportunity to do that.
Stanislas Wawrinka to win set one is even money, Sean. Even money, Stanislas Wawrinka.
Okay. This could be an opportunity to do it again. As I say, Borges doesn't have a good record at all on indoor hard as yet, and we saw last week. Anyone that saw the Wawrinka match against Medvedev, he still has the quality to compete at this level, does Wawrinka, but only for a short period of time. And that Medvedev match, the overs, he ended up winning the first set, Wawrinka there. But he could have helped himself a bit more. He made life very difficult for himself that day, Wawrinka. He only served at 51%. It actually seemed lower than that. I think during the first set, he was down at about 46%. Just wasn't hardly making any first serves, made life difficult for himself, but still managed to get the job done. Borges on indoor hard, 3-6 win-loss in his career, and service points won over 10 points, won a total of 96, breaking serve only 12% of the time. If we look at what Wawrinka's done on his last 10 indoors, very similar in terms of the return game. He's only broken serve 12% of the time as well. So a tight first set is highly likely here. The serve is key for Wawrinka. He's got to do better than 51%. That's not really going to get it done. But if he serves well, then I think he's got a decent chance of winning the first set. I'm pretty sure we had the same bet when these two met on clay. I think it was last season. I can't remember exactly, but Wawrinka did win the first set that day. He's won the first set for us numerous times. So I think that's where we've got to go again. Even money for Wawrinka to win the first set.
Yeah, even money. Wawrinka, set number one. Head across the BetRivers website, 24 different markets available as we speak now. Download the app as well, and if you do have a bet on this match, and hopefully you're taking Sean's advice and taking Wawrinka to win set number one, you'll be able to watch that set on the BetRivers app. You can bet live and watch live with BetRivers. Now, unfortunately, at the time of this recording, we did not have any odds on the Buenos Aires outright market. We'll just give you a little rundown on the conditions and the draw, and then, Sean, if there's anything you thought that was interesting. The conditions I'll leave to you, but I'll just give you the. I did read to Aleksandar Zverev is number one. I think he's lost some luggage on the way there. I think he posted a tweet
I heard
out.
that.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I
he's
didn't
lost
see
some
the tweet, but I
luggage.
saw it somewhere else. It kind of happens a lot.
So it could be a little bit of a worry for the number one seed, but it's the first real clay court event of the season. Well, it's the first clay court of the season. We go into the South American swing with these kind of tournaments that pop up, and when the hard courts are going on, and you get the same players in there. But I'm quite surprised that Zverev's there. It must be paying him a few quid, I can imagine.
He did say that he just wanted to try it. Basically, he's never done it before. He wanted to give it a go. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's like an experimental thing for him, a curiosity thing. He just wanted to play this leg of the tour because, as you say, he's never done it before.
Yeah, he's the number one seed. There's question marks about him. Obviously, his luggage has got missing. See what he can do. Conditions might suit him. Conditions might not suit him. We'll give you the draw. So Zverev's number one seed. He's in the top half of the draw again. Like all these 250s, the top four seeds get buys through to the last 16. It's Zverev and Musetti in the top half of the draw. The bottom half of the draw is Tabilo and Holger Rune, who was awful last week in his defeat at Rotterdam, where he was ill and he had a bug. So what's he going to do travelling over there? God only knows. If he went to the seedings, Zverev would play Cerundolo, and Musetti would play Nicolas Jarry. Sebastian Baez, who's in every sort of Argentinian South American clay court tournament, he would play Tabilo, and Echeverry, who's up against João Fonseca. That's the interesting thing here. João Fonseca, the teen sensation from Brazil, is making his reappearance since beating Rublev at the Australian Open, and Holger Rune will be the opponent for them. What are the conditions? I don't know if there's anything you looked at and thought, he might be worth following or stuff like that. But Fonseca's the interesting one, isn't he?
Yeah, I think a lot of people will be interested to see what Fonseca does. This tournament it's a slight change this year. This isn't normally This isn't normally played in the first week of the Golden Swing. It's normally played in like the second or third week of the swing. It used to be Cordoba in recent years that was played first, but it got quite complicated with the licenses. Cordoba's license has now gone to Mallorca, which is played obviously on the grass in the summer, and so that Cordoba doesn't exist anymore. So this is the first clay court tournament of the year. As I say, it's not normally played. Buenos Aires is normally not played in this particular week. As far as the conditions are concerned, obviously it's weather dependent. Usually on the slower side. Not many people will consider this to be a particularly quick clay event. Average is 74% hold, 66.4% first serve points won. Very few tie-break matches, only 30%. Nothing to say about the overs and unders. Now, underdog winners here used to be terrible in Buenos Aires. Pretty much every favourite used to win. It was right down there. But the last 2 years, it's averaged 44% underdog winners. And I think that might continue this year, given that it's changed position in the calendar. And this is now the first clay event of the year, and you always get some peculiar results there. Cordoba used to get quite a few underdog winners. That was at altitude, and it was the first clay event of the year. So I'm expecting or hoping for a few more underdog winners here. The weather is very, very up and down. It's always important when you're talking about clay events, the weather. It's supposed to be 37 degrees on Monday, which is obviously extremely hot. And for the rest of the week, thunderstorms, unsettled, bits of rain here and there, between sort of 25 and 27. So we'll have to sort of see how the thunderstorms and rain, if it comes, does affect the tournament. As far as the trend's concerned, it used to be or has been a good one for favourite backers. The number one seed has made at least the semi-finals every single year since 2007. But 3 of the last 10 finalists have been 66-1 shots, including Diaz Acosta, who won it last year. Now, that definitely annoyed me because I backed Diaz Acosta to win in Cordoba. He lost, I think, pretty early on. Then he won Buenos Aires the next week at 66-1. So there you go. So those are the trends. As far as the outright is concerned, I couldn't even print the draw out on this because the ATP haven't put it up for some reason. I had to get it from somewhere else. But Zverev, if he goes through to play Cerundolo, that could be interesting because Cerundolo beat him in straight sets in Madrid on the clay. It was a great performance from Cerundolo that day. You never know what you're going to get with Cerundolo, but he's could be a tough one for Zverev. As could Musetti. He's in that part of the draw as well. Jarry's also someone that could beat Zverev on his day. So I think it's a tough draw for Zverev. The other side of the draw, you got Holger Rune's your mate, isn't he? You had a little chat with him, didn't you, last week? Holger Rune over in Rotterdam.
Told him where he's going wrong. Usually when I tell these players where they're going wrong, they usually go on to bigger and better things. I remember speaking to Jude Bellingham once at an England game, and suddenly he went on to win the Champions League, become the best young player in the world, and hopefully he can take some of my advice and go on to bigger and better things. But I didn't realise he was going to Argentina. I told him to have a little week off, but we'll see what happens.
Well, I hope he didn't give you any virus or whatever he was carrying around Rotterdam. But he's someone that traditionally has struggled in sort of heat and humidity. It's obviously going to be very humid. I can't imagine he'll play on Monday, but later on in the week, it's still going to be hot and humid. It'll be interesting to see how he gets on. I wouldn't put too much money on him to win it. We haven't seen the prices yet, but I wouldn't be backing Rune. I think his quarter is really interesting. Fonseca's in there. Navone can play in these conditions. Echeverry's also obviously very decent in these conditions. That would be a great match against Fonseca. Baez has certainly won here before. He's a player that does enjoy these conditions, the slow courts. Diaz Acosta's in there as well. Sabov Wild, Tabilo. It's a very interesting draw. Unfortunately, we haven't got any prices, so it's difficult for me to give any leads because I haven't seen.
Well, funny you should say that. They have just come out. Now we're not going to put you on the spot. Okay. I'll read you the prices down. I've just got the prices in front of me now. This is live now. They just come through on the website. So Aleksandar Zverev is the favourite at plus 175. Now I know that'd be no interest to you. Holger Rune is 6-1. Then we have João Fonseca at 8-1. Lorenzo Musetti is 9-1. And Nicolas Jarry is 10-1. Sebastian Baez is 12, Tabilo is 12, Francisco Cerundolo 14, Diaz Acosta 16, Echeverry 16, and 33-1. Big prices after that.
33-1. What's that? I didn't know what was said there.
It goes to the big prices. 33-1 after that. Munar, Darderi, Martinez. all big prices after those. Echeverry at 16-1.
Seeing as you're putting me on the spot. I might be
no. Well, you can look. Well, you can look at them. You can break them down in detail, and you might have a bit of lunch and post something up on the Instagram account. Get people to follow on the Instagram.
Yeah, I'll do it now.
Yeah, good. But, I mean, Baez on the first there is 12 to 1. So
yeah, he's the first one that springs to mind. At those odds, I certainly won't be backing Zverev or Holger Rune, in these conditions. But yeah, I'll have to have a proper look at it in a bit.
Yeah, Sean will post something up today, and obviously he's going to be at Delray Beach all week. So anything you see us from there or any information will be exclusively on that Instagram account. And we got a lot of subscribers last week, and a lot of people come up to me at the tennis, but honestly, and said to subscribe to Instagram. We follow the shows. Thank you very much for all your lovely comments when we bumped into a person. Hopefully you can bump into a few in there as well, over there in Delray Beach. We do, however, have two matches that you... Sorry?
I said maybe I'll bump into some followers here. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, that would be great. So we have two matches that we wanted to talk. You want to talk about? Francisco Cerundolo is minus 350 against Luciano Darderi. 2.5 the spread, and 22.5 is the match. Is the total. These matches start at 11 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. So we've got a little bit of time to get them across on the BetRivers website. Currently, there is only 7 markets on each one of these matches, but as the day goes on, we'll be adding more markets throughout. You'll have a whole host of stuff, maybe 30 different markets to choose from. If we look at the record, they played once before in Houston on clay. Darderi won on that occasion, but Darderi is yet to win a clay court match this year, and his form coming in is absolutely shocking. His last win on tour was back in Vienna in October. And prior to that, you have to go all the way back to August. I mean, I think he's lost something like 13 out of his last 14 matches. Really, really bad for Cerundolo. Done all right. Got to the third round of the Australian Open and got beat by Alex de Minaur, but pushed him quite close in that match, taking a set off the Aussie. Heavy favourite Cerundolo here. Darderi, if you're going to take him, you've got to turn some form around because he's not playing well.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to turn some form around, and yes, he's lost 13 of his last 14 matches, as as Darderi, and the only win, as you said, was against Dominic Thiem. But pretty much all of those matches were on hard courts. On clay's a different proposition. This looks a very short price to me on Cerundolo for the first clay court match of the year. We know Cerundolo's from Buenos Aires. We know he's motivated playing here, but I don't think that helps him, to be honest. He made the final here in 2021 as a qualifier, did Cerundolo, when there was no pressure on him, and it was all great fun. But the last 2 times he's been here, he's lost first up against Zapata Morales and Diaz Acosta. So knowing his psyche, as I think I do, it doesn't strike me as the pressure being on him is a great thing for him. Darderi is obviously highly motivated as well. He was born in Argentina, although he plays for Italy. He was born here. Plays well here. He won the season opening Cordoba championship 12 months ago, so he goes well early in the golden swing. I'm not worried about that form. Yes, it's awful form, but none of those matches were on clay. Maybe 1 or 2 of them were on clay. The vast majority were on hard. He beat Cerundolo, as you said, on clay in Houston as a plus 158 underdog in their only Korean meeting, and he deserved it as well. I know it was a final set tiebreak, but he was 104 to 96 ahead in terms of service points won and return points won total, so he certainly deserved it. If you also look in the last 12 months on clay at main level, Cerundolo is slightly ahead in terms of the service points won and return points won totals, 104 to 102, but it's only a narrow lead. It's not big enough to make him minus 350 here. So I'm going to go with Darderi on the handicap here. The markets aren't all out yet, but I think it's plus 2.5 is what, plus 150? Maybe I'll go plus 3.5. I haven't quite seen all the odds, but yeah, the handicap is the way to go here on Darderi for me. I think this will be close.
Plus 2.5 Darderi, plus 150. Remember, the match starts 11 o'clock tomorrow Eastern time. We do not know the order of play. We have a little bit of time for these shows because obviously we got the tournaments in Florida and we have tournaments in Buenos Aires. The matches that you really want to get on quickly are the ones involved in the south of France. So they're 5 a.m. the ones. All these ones you've got a little bit of time. Next, move on to our final match that we're going to discuss. Jaume Munar up against Corentin Moutet. Munar is minus 137. Moutet is plus 110. Spread 1.5. Total 22.5. Both of these players have not been in that bad form to start the year, actually. Munar got to the semi-finals this week in Dallas. Got to travel, though, across to Argentina. And he was in a bit of a battle against Casper Ruud in that match. Also, the Hong Kong tournament, he also reached the semi-final earlier in the year as well. So he's in good form. Moutet did well to reach round 3 of the Australian Open. And he also did well to reach the semi-final in Metz at the end of last year. So these two are in good form. Munar is a player that has really been playing well, but that Ruud match was a bit of a tough one to go straight into this match.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just a quick turnaround, isn't it? We've profited from Munar last week. We've profited from him a few times back in people like him and Caballero on hard courts because they've been underrated. But now this is a very quick turnaround for Munar to a completely different surface, and he wouldn't want Corentin Moutet as his first opponent on clay of the year, that's for sure. Moutet gives you no rhythm at all. He's beaten Munar twice. One of them was a retirement, but even so, and they were both on hard courts. But Moutet he's not going to be worried about that. He's won those matches and he's won them reasonably well. 103 to 97 in terms of service points won and return points won totals. So decent margin of victory. He's won 55% of the second serve points in those matches compared to 43% for Munar. Moutet actually has a better win rate, quite a much better win rate than Munar does on clay at main level in the last 12 months. 53% Moutet's win rate compared to just 40% for Munar. And in terms of the service points won and return points won totals, there's barely anything in it. Moutet's on 101 on clay in the last 12 months at main level. Munar 101.8. So a tiny advantage for Munar there. But given that Moutet should be much, much better prepared for this, this is Corentin Moutet. The last match he played, he fainted in the shower 45 minutes before his match. So anything's possible with him. But in theory, he should be better prepared for this than Munar. He's coming from a tough few days in Dallas and then switching the surfaces. And it's a tricky matchup for most people. And Munar certainly has enjoyed it so far. So I think I'm going to go for Moutet here. It's always a risk when you backing, whatever it is. He said batting then for some reason. Betting again on Moutet.
You want to be batting him after when he has a meltdown when you're on him. That's what you want to bat him, yeah.
I got confused between betting and backing. So anyway, whatever you're doing, your money on Moutet plus 110. Yeah, I think that's the bet here. I think this is a very tough turnaround for Munar.
Yeah, 2 tournaments with very, very different conditions, travelling as well, especially after going very deep in the tournament in Dallas and having a tough match against Casper Ruud as well. So Moutet at plus 110. We're not really inspired by what we see from the Frenchman. It's just the fact that we want to oppose Munar with the conditions that he's running into.
He's been playing well.
I mean, the obvious player plus 1.
I mean, he played well in Australia, didn't he? He played very well. So not that means anything with Corentin Moutet. It's all on the day with him, isn't it? But I think this is a good opportunity for him.
Yep, lots of opportunities there. Sean, just give us a quick brief for what are our official bets this week?
Yeah, the official picks. I'll start with Buenos Aires because that's where we are. Well, that's where I am on this page. So plus 110, Corentin Moutet to beat Munar there. And the second bet, we plus 2.5 games on Darderi against Cerundolo. Plus 150, I think that is, or thereabouts. The outright, I'll have to come back to you on that. So the next one, Delray Beach, obviously where I am at the minute. Nishioka to beat Aleksandar Vukic there. Just a straight bet on the money line. And Riley Opelka each way on the outrights there, I think 14-1. And in Marseille, I'm just going to take a straight win on Hubert Urkash to win, if I can pronounce his name properly. That is a plus 450 chance, and it's a bit of a lean on my Wawrinka one. I don't think that'll be an official pick. I want a slightly bigger price than evens. Might be being greedy, but I could do a little bit juicier than that. But him to win the first set against Borges, if you don't mind that price.
Yep. They are the official plays. They are the leans. And you can follow Sean, as I said, on our Instagram account at Because We Win. You'll be able to see him over in Delray Beach. He'll be doing updates in play, giving you some information from the court side. And also, he will put an exclusive pickup for you for there on Buenos Aires if there's any value on that outright draw. Because we put him on the spot there and he needs to have a look at break down the draw. And the only way to find that will be on the Instagram page. Sean will be back alongside me on Tuesday and Wednesday. From Delray Beach. Also this week we have the return of the Champions League football and we have Betting Weekly Live with one of the team doing that. I think Will White is on Tuesday. I'm on Wednesday. Tomorrow we have Rory Girani looking at the tennis over in Qatar. Big week of tennis on the women's tour as well. And there's a podcast and a show available previewing that on Betting Weekly WTA. That has been it for the Betting Weekly Game Bet Match Show for our first one of the week. Sean, have a great time. Enjoy the sunshine. Watch out for LinkedIn. Tell us about the lizards. Few lizards, be careful of the lizards out there.
You've got to watch them lizards. They're big old things. They hide in the trees and stuff. And while you're sunbathing, they catch you unawares. That's the problem with them. Big old things they are.
I'm sure there's going to be many Instagram pictures of lizards running across patios and hotel bars and sunbeds over the next few days. Okay, we will be back on Tuesday. Thanks very much for watching. Please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that bell as well, and you'll be notified of any time, any of the content. We had a brilliant week last week. We're in profit, for almost 5 units of profit on the show for this season, and hopefully we can extend that over the next couple of days or so. Take care, and good luck with your bets.